There is some very, very interesting trends going on right now in China with the automotive market. Essentially, legacy auto sales of their premium vehicles are, well, they're all of them, every single model has basically collapsed within the last 6 months. But sales of electric cars from Xpeng, Li Auto, Tesla, and other new electric car manufacturers have all soared over the last 6 months. Interesting trends going on. The fact that it's not isolated to one or two models, but it's actually industry-wide, that is the most interesting part about what is happening. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. Fantastic to see so many new people here on the channel recently. Almost 20,000 new subscribers over the last few weeks. Great to have you on board. Make sure you check out the 700 plus videos we have created over the last 6 months. No one else is doing this. Only here on the Electric Viking are we doing this. Try to cover everything that's going on in electric cars, not just one thing, not just Tesla or not just a few things here and there. We're trying to capture everything that's going on. Now, I just want to say a big shout out and a big thank you to all the Patreons of the channel. It makes a huge, huge difference to be able to create these videos and make this channel work. I'll put a link in the description below to our Patreon account. If you want to support the channel, click on the link below and you can support us as well. So what was the best selling premium SUV in China in November? Without being anywhere near close, it is the Tesla Model Y. Now, interestingly, the Tesla Model 3, now that Chinese buyers can buy the Model Y, they're not so interested in the Tesla Model 3 anymore. That's the trend. And I think we're going to see this trend happen potentially all over the world once the Tesla Model Y becomes more available and more affordable in a number of different countries, especially in Europe soon, with Tesla's factory in Germany. Now, the Tesla Model Y sold 21,117 units in China in November, making it the best-selling premium SUV, full stop, in China. That's not the best-selling electric. That's just the best-selling premium SUV in the entire country. Remember, China is the largest auto market in the world, so this is a pretty significant number. Now, the CPCA released Tesla China wholesale sales and export figures for November yesterday, but they did not release a breakdown of Model 3 and Model Y sales in China, but today those numbers became available. Now, we have sales for the Tesla Model 3 in November as well. It sold 8,615 units in China in November. That's about 20 times more than what it sold last month, when it sold only 422 units in October. Now, Model 3 sales in China last year in the month of November were 21,604. You can see a very similar number to what the Model Y sold in November this year. So sales seem to be moving away from Model 3 to the Tesla Model Y. But those sales figures from October, they're not really indicative of demand, because essentially what Tesla's doing, they're just putting all their vehicles that they've made at the start of the quarter. They ship vehicles to Europe or to Australia, New Zealand, many other countries around the world from China. And then the following month in November, they sell their vehicles locally. So those numbers are not indicative of low demand. There's a lot of people on forums and on the internet everywhere. Tesla's sales are crashing in China. People don't want to buy Teslas anymore. Those people are just telling you a narrative that they want you to believe, because that's what they believe. They don't like Tesla. They hate them. When there's emotion involved, you're not going to get the true story. Now, the interesting thing is that even though normally the first month of the quarter has low sales for Tesla in the home market because they ship cars worldwide, the Model Y still sold a lot of vehicles in October in China. They actually sold 13,300 Tesla Model Ys in China in October. And Tesla's China's wholesale figures in November were 52,860 units. That's an increase of 145% year on year, down about 3% from October. Data released yesterday by the CPCA showed. But that 3% is indicative of the fact that there's one less day in November versus October. So delivery from the factory, from Tesla's Gigafactory, appears to be pretty much exactly the same every day now for the last maybe 10 to 12 weeks. So capacity currently is around about 52,000 vehicles per month for Tesla China. But that will change next year. Right now, Tesla is building a big expansion to the factory. I believe by the end of the year, we're going to hit a run rate by the end of next year, end of 2022. We're going to be looking at a run rate of about 1 million vehicles annually for Tesla in China. Now, what about exports from Tesla China globally in the month of November? Well, they did export 21,127 units worldwide, meaning they sold 31,732 units total in China itself. Now, today's data showed that the Tesla Model Y ranked first in November's high-end SUV sales rankings across all of China, followed by Li Auto, Li 1 with 13,500 units. That's a plug-in PHEV, by the way. And the Mercedes-Benz GLC with 12,270 units. Really important to keep in mind, though, GLC sales are down 20% this year. And that's a pretty good number for Legacy Auto. I'll get to that in a second, though. Now, the Neo ES6 ranked 8th with 4,713 units. But I want to point out one interesting fact. In terms of year-on-year growth, Li 1 and Neo ES6 maintained very high growth, and Model Y's year-on-year sales data is not available because the Tesla Model Y wasn't being sold really for most of last year. Now, all other high-end SUVs are from legacy car makers that made the top 10 list of premium SUV sales in China, but all sales for all models that are not electric were down significantly over the last quarter, in fact down significantly over the last year in China. So in first place we have the Tesla Model Y. Second place, Li 1 with 13,500. That's an increase of 190% versus the same month last year. In third place was the Mercedes GLC with 12,270 sales. That's a decrease of 20% versus the same month last year. Fourth place, Audi Q5, 11,411 sales. That's a decrease of 28% versus the same month last year. Fifth place was the BMW X3 with 10,400 sales. That's a decrease of 13% versus the same month last year. Sixth place, Volvo XC60 with 6,300 sales. That's a decrease of 15% versus the same month last year. In seventh place was a Chinese petrol-powered SUV. That was down 30% versus the same month last year. In eighth place, the ES6, the Neo electric SUV. That's up 98% versus the same month last year. Ninth place, Mercedes GLB, 4,000 sales. That's decreased. That's down by 30% same month last year. And in 10th place was another Legacy Auto SUV, the XT5. That's down 35% versus the same month last year. So what were the most popular electric cars in China in November? Number one, SAIC, GM and Wulink's joint venture, tri-venture. The Hongwan Mini EV ranked number one with 40,400 sales of that model alone. Just in November, that's insane. That's 10,000 vehicles per week. BYD Quin ranked second with 30,050 units, and BYD Han ranked third with 12,836 units. Now those rankings obviously were ignoring the Tesla Model Y, which was actually first place in that month. But those sales for the Model Y, they are a little bit misleading because of the fact that Tesla's months are up and down like crazy because of their export numbers, and that sort of skews that data a little bit. So what's going to happen next year in China? Well, electric car sales represent 20% of all car sales in October and November this year in China. That figure, in my view, by the end of next year will be around about 35% of all car sales. And by the time we get to 2025, I think at least 70% of all car sales in China will be electric cars. What does this mean for Legacy Auto? It means they are proverbially effed up the butthole. Basically, they are screwed. Sorry, mind my French. The reality is here extremely serious for Legacy Auto, because Legacy Auto has shown very little interest outside of Volkswagen in actually electrifying their fleet in China. Very few of the cars sold in China this year that were electric were Legacy Auto. In fact, only 3% of all Legacy Auto sales in China this year were electric. In other words, Legacy Auto is doomed in the world's largest car market. That is irreversible. There's nothing they can do now. That game has been run and won, and it's over for Legacy Auto in China. Thanks for watching the channel. Look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Bye-bye.